On Friday the 5th of July 2013 at about 6:30 p.m, on the seafront in Kings Road, Brighton, Sussex police tasered a man. This video is based largely on stories about the incident on BBC One South East Today 4 days later, and on the Argus Co UK on the 9th of July and the 1st of August.
Sussex police have launched an investigation after video emerged appearing to show a man being kicked by an officer after he'd been tasered on Brighton seafront. Sussex police have 103 non-firearms officers trained to use tasers. The stun guns were actually used 8 times last year, each time discharging 50,000-volt shocks.
The BBC story said that the guns were used 8 times last year, yet the Argus Co UK on the 9th of July reported Sussex police also used a taser on Friday in Whitehawk Hill Road, Brighton, at about 1:35 p.m. after reports a man looked in an agitated state. And the X26 does not deliver 50,000-volt shocks. The Taser X26C specification does include an arc voltage of 50,000, but that is to establish an electrical circuit through up to 2 inches of clothing shared between the 2 probes at an average current of only 2.1 milliamperes. The Taser delivers electrical pulses at 19 pulses per second for a few seconds, or if the trigger is held down until the lithium batteries are discharged. According to Taser International, the voltage across the body is about 1,200 volts during the shock. The peak current of about 3 amperes is far less than that of a strong static electricity shock. It works by disrupting the body's normal electrical activity, resulting in what the Taser company calls neuromuscular incapacitation.
Tasered to the ground, a man hits the floor face first, his arms by his side and underneath him, unable to break his fall.
What the reporter calls the floor looks like concrete pavement, unless the victim's head extends beyond that. In slow motion, a woman in police uniform appears to have fired the taser at a man who is not threatening anyone. 2 insulated wires connect the weapon to the target. The man is already falling when someone's left foot appears. Judge the point aimed at for yourself. Another woman approaches the 2 attackers and a 4th person joins them. The points of attachment to the target are not visible, but the top probe, driven by compressed nitrogen, should enter the body near the laser beam used to aim the device, and the lower probe's trajectory is 8 degrees lower, resulting in a spread of about 1 foot for every 7 feet of distance from the target. A wider spread involving more muscle has a greater effect. Attachment is dependent on the point of the probe, which at 9.65 millimeters could do serious damage to some parts of the body, like blood vessels or eyes.
The video only begins with the barbs already attached to the man. We don't see how he'd been behaving before, although Sussex police say they were responding to reports that a man had pushed supermarket staff to the ground and had attempted to steal food and drink.
How many staff had been pushed to the ground? The Argus on the 9th of July reported only 1 member of staff. Police said they were called after reports a member of staff at Sainsbury's in Western Road, Brighton, had been pushed to the ground by a suspected shoplifter. Officers pursued the man they thought to be the offender and claimed it was necessary to taser him in order to make a safe arrest.
Police say it was local officers who arrested the man. They say that the action was necessary in order to carry out a safe arrest.
The BBC then produced a former Met Police firearms officer, whether as an expert witness or to expose the dishonesty of police officers, I cannot say.
It wasn't a kick, it seemed to me, with the toe. It was with the side of the foot, and it was struck quite low down on the right thigh. And I think what the officer was trying to do was to get that leg to bend on the basis of that the rest of that individual would then follow it to the ground, and they would then be able to restrain him.
In the Argus Co-UK on the 1st of August, another member of the police family, Detective Chief Inspector Paul Betts, seemed to endorse that interpretation.
One of the approved and taught techniques is a sweeping strike to a suspect's leg to assist in achieving control.
John, Sussex Police only very recently increased the number of officers allowed to use tasers.
Yes, in March they announced that they were training an additional 160 officers in the use of Taser and removing the requirement that those officers be specifically firearms trained officers. The force believes that Taser is very effective at preventing the escalation of situations involving violence and potentially dangerous people.
That and Taser strikes may soon be more common, so those living in places like Brighton and Eastbourne might want to think about Kevlar clothing and Taser-proof sunglasses. The first paragraph of the 28-page Taser X26 operating manual says, "Do not attempt to use this device until you have read and understand this manual," and even then concludes half a page on what it calls secondary injuries, like impact injuries, muscle or tendon tears, and stress fractures, by saying, "For a full list of warnings, see the website." The impact injuries which stick in my mind are the cases of people being killed with a single punch as a result of brain damage caused by an uncontrolled fall to the ground. That being possible, the police being accountable for their actions is vital. One knows that police dishonesty is common, so objective evidence is important, and its capture is possible in the case of the Taser and should be mandatory. The standard power supply unit of the X26 can be replaced with one which incorporates a camera which is activated whenever the safety switch is off. It can record audio and video for about 1.5 hours and can work in complete darkness using an infrared illuminator. I'll end with comments from two members of the public. The fact that we have been able to see how Sussex Police deploy Taser is thanks to a member of the public. The Argus Co UK, Tuesday the 9th of July 2013. A member of the public, who asked not to be named, saw the dramatic scene unfurl as he was walking to the shops after work. He started filming just after the Taser had been fired at the suspected shoplifter. The man, who is a respectable local businessman, said you could see that he clearly had some issues as he started taking his clothes off when surrounded by officers. There was a lot of shouting, and he was saying he had been tasered before. What concerned me was not the shouting, but the kick that the police officer gave him. He was already going down, but to be kicked like that while being tasered is quite concerning. Despite standing on a public highway, the witness said a police officer tried to stop him filming. When he carried on, the officer then stood in his way to block the view. The concluding words are from the victim of the attack. The Argus Co UK, 1st of August 2013. He, the tasered man, said, "I remember running away and taking my shirt off. I was stood there and had my hands out. I think there were about 5 officers around me. I walked backwards with my hands out. They could have grabbed me and put handcuffs on. Instead, they tasered me."